Here's another couple of them that are standing dead. Yeah, it's got some type of, I don't know what they would call them, polypores or fungus, or I don't know for sure. I seem to know how to create the conditions for all this life, but I don't really know what all this life is. There's some type of a worm in here. When I'm planting this go around, these are blackberries. These are actually blackberries that have a purple blossom. And this is box elder. That's a really good tree for deer. More blackberries. And these are thimbleberries. Those I'm planting along the small ponds. Oh, here, this tree right here is dedicated to Bill Mollison. When he passed on, this is a honey locust. He liked talking about honey locusts. It's living. Here we have elderberries. Here I got a lineup of black raspberries. I have no idea if they're going to live up here or not, but you know, I don't want a lot of this stuff. I just plant it, see what happens. And see, I got some straw there to slow down the weeds. But what I'm going to be ending up doing is I'm breaking apart all these hay bales, and I'll just put segments around, and then I got other places to go with the rest of it. You know, of all those bales, I'll probably leave, you know, 4 or 5 bales worth of straw on that mound. This is a garden bed. You can see I got them curled here. They're on contour. I planted about 30 box elders, and you can see one there is left. There's another one there, another little one in there. I'm going to do a little video on how I'm planting them. They're just little seedlings, they just come up. So I got this pickaxe right here. And all I'm doing, I'm planting them along the swale, because the swale mound is downhill. That's the mound there, and this is the swale. And box elders don't mind being in really wet conditions. So I'm planting along the swale for a couple of purposes. One is going to provide shade for the swale, and it's going to hold water a little longer, and we're going to get more frog production. Another is I'm going to be hinge cutting them, and I'm kind of planting them at an angle towards the mound, and I'm going to hinge cut them lower to the ground here so that the tops rest on the mounds. So it's going to provide, you know, assuming they live through the hinge cutting ordeal, which is going to be 5 or 6 years from now, but that's going to end up being a shade source for the mounds, because I'm growing trees on them, and any kind of a shade that's on the mound, you know, while the tree is growing, is going to be a benefit to the mound. It won't dry out as quickly. And another advantage is by hinge cutting them, you're going to create browse for deer where that they can reach. They really like to eat box elder leaves, you know, as well as maple leaves and ash leaves. But box elder seems to be a favorite of theirs. So by hinge cutting them, I'll provide browse for deer. And then also, the box elders produce a lot of seed, so that's for birds and squirrels, you know, grouse. So it's generally just a really good wildlife crop. There are no box elders on this land at all, and I'm introducing them right now because of the potential. Now, a lot of people will talk about how, you know, box elder is not a good tree, you know, and they're talking to you in terms of, you know, lumber, you know, big trees that they produce lumber out of. Well, box elder isn't a good lumber tree, and I'm not going to manage this place. I mean, I've got a lot of trees on here that'll be good lumber anyway. You know, cedar and soft maples are growing here, and they've got some quite large ones. If I wanted to create, you know, produce some lumber, I can, but I don't want to. I want to create a wildlife habitat area. So, like just this morning, I took a video of a kinglet that's flying through. It's in here because I got a lot of, you know, life here that it can eat. It eats bugs. So this is a stopover. So anyhow, I want to show you how I'm doing this. Guess I'm getting a little long-winded here. So it's just a simple thing. I'm hitting it at an angle away from the swale mound because I want the tree to lean that way to begin with. It'll be that much less of a bend when I do the hinge cut. So I'll put one right here. All I'm doing is loosening them up. loosening up the soil here with the pickaxe. And here's the pickaxe. Loosen the soil. And I'd pick out one of these. Just pull it right out. These are just seedlings from this year. Just put it in the hole. Since they're so little, they're easy to manage. These I gotta get my camera on it. I'm looking at what I'm doing, not looking at the camera. Then I got it in the hole. Pull the pickaxe out. Stomp her down. You can see now that it's leaning toward that soil mound. So, you know, they grow pretty fast, so I might be hinge cutting that in 3 years. It'll be tall enough to reach. And I've done some experiments where I cut the tops off, I just leave the trunk without many stems on it. I think that that's a good method, because when that tree wakes up in the spring, and I'm doing the hinge cutting in the winter, and it's going to be wanting to draw a lot of moisture up, and I think that could kill the tree if there's too many leaves. So if you cut the top off, then it's starting all brand new shoots off the trunk, and that's what you want anyways. That's that fresh growth, the new growth for the deer. So that's my box elder planting story. Nice looking frog right there. Just hopped out in front of me. Lots of life in the pond already. Let's see if I can get it to come over here. Yeah. Now we're getting them all coming out of there now. We just loosen them all up. That's pretty cool. Look at that frog. It is black. I'm not getting a good shot because of the sun. Let's see if I can get around to the back of him. Something wrong with his back leg. So I don't know if his back leg is deformed or what. It's pretty weird. Bet you a bird grabbed him or something, huh? Yeah. He can't get away from me. That leg, look at that leg. I'm planting comfrey back here. I already got some in there. He's got strength. That back leg is just all screwed up. Bird would have got him by now, except I got all these branches in here and he'd probably been hiding under them. Where'd he go now? Another story in the swamp. There have been a lot of tadpoles fleeing me as I walk along the edge of this pond. I don't know if we're going to get in past the glare of the water. It has many right there right now. Can I see them all? There's the maple tree. I planted comfrey along the length of the swale mound, right on the edge. There's comfrey going to grow through the whole thing. I'm going to have to cage it for a while because the deer do like to eat it. And that's why I'm planting it. Deer forage. Some of the roots are pretty long, and I dug little trenches down towards the water. This is one of those rootstocks for cherry. I put in a couple of them along the top of the mound here, and they all live through the winter. Supposed to be pretty tough. And here we have our bird's foot trefoil growing. I planted that in 2013. Here it is 2019, still growing. It's terrific. That is bird's foot trefoil, planted 2013. Here we are camping. I got this series of keyhole garden beds. In the end here I got some rhubarb, and there's a bit of comfort coming up. I think these are elephant garlics in here, but they might be some grasses mixed in with them. And then I've got this caging that I put over the top. This is a way that a old military guy up there in Jimtown Road, how he does it to keep the deer out of his garden. He says the deer don't like walking in this stuff, in this wiring. So I just looped it over the top. I've got skewered in here that I want to protect. There's also some radishes growing in here. And the rest of these are mostly onions, but I planted a kohlrabi. This one's got 2 kohlrabis in it. The rest of them have 1. So this is how the old military guy, marine guy, this is how he does it. He loops it up a little bit like that. And he says the deer just hate walking on it. He's watched it. And they leave anything that's underneath it alone in his garden. He doesn't have any fencing around his garden whatsoever. He actually has a bigger tail than that even. It's got kind of a tail right here. I got it bent. There's a V, and it loops around, and it's in the ground just rounded there. That's how he does it. So we're going to find out how it works. Looks kind of neat. Let's get a shot from, get them all in there. It's 5 cages right now. Kind of like that. That looks like a lovely little succulent right there. Come out pretty nice. Guess it ain't gonna focus very well. I'm eating this right here. Piece of rhubarb. I was gonna try to peel it, but I said heck with it. I'm just gonna eat it. I'm gonna wipe it off on my shirt a little bit. Very good. Good snack. Sorry for eating with my mouth open. It's good. Got another succulent here. Well, it's not so succulent. This is lovage. I got to take a piece of that too. That's really good. Ooh, that's a strong celery taste. Forget the succulent part of it.